Hello dear children, good morning. Children, today I am going to start with the new lesson and the name of the lesson is your first lesson, our water resources. Children, all of you open your semester 2 textbooks. We are going to start your semester 2 portion. We are going to learn your first chapter, our water resources. See, before going to start the lesson, see the warm-up part. Observe some of the household activities that require water. List them in the table below. For each activity, suggest an alternative that may help in water conservation. So, here they have given household activities. So, you have to list some household activities that require water. For example, for washing clothes we require some water, right? And an alternate way to conserve water. In that activity you have to mention this. Do this warm up part and send it through WhatsApp, okay? And in this chapter we are going to learn sources of water, irrigation in India, water pollution and wastage. Let's start our lesson. Water. Water is one of the most important natural resources available to us. Yes, water is a natural resource and it is the important and most prominent one that available to us. Life cannot exist without water. Water covers nearly 3/4 of the Earth's surface. Yes, as we have learned in our previous class that water covers our Earth nearly 3/4 part of our Earth's surface. Salty or saline water obtained from oceans and sea is not fit for consumption. And for consumption purpose, salty water from oceans and seas will not fit. Whereas fresh water is obtained from different sources but constitutes only 3% of the total water on earth. So, fresh water is also obtained from different sources but only 3% of the water on earth can be used. So, where do we get this water from? Where do we get this water? Let us see. Rain is the main source of fresh water in India. So, the main source of water is rain. However, it is received mainly through the monsoons, but its distribution is not uniform throughout the country. So, mainly it rains in the monsoon, but in some places the uniform rainfall throughout the country will not be happen. Some places receive a lot of rainfall whereas others receive little. Some places receive lot of rain but in some places there is a little amount of rainfall. Based on their source, fresh water that we get from water bodies can be divided into two types: surface water and groundwater. The fresh water are again divided into two types: fresh water and groundwater. Rivers, ponds, lakes and streams form sources of surface water. So here sources of surface water are rivers, ponds, lakes and streams. Rivers that originate in the mountains get water from the melting snow and rain, but the peninsular rivers are dependent on the rains only. But here, rivers which are near to the mountains will get water from melting snow and rain, but the rivers in peninsular will depend on the rains. Groundwater is the water that seeps into the earth's surface. Groundwater will seeps into the earth's surface. Irrigation. Apart from meeting our everyday needs, water is largely used for irrigation. What do you mean by irrigation, children? Irrigation means supplying water to crops, often through Canals, pipes, wells or tube wells. So, apart from meeting our everyday needs, water is largely used for irrigation purposes. In India, agriculture is primarily dependent on monsoon. Yes, agriculture will purely depend on monsoon rainfalls. However, in case of delayed or less rain, irrigation becomes important. So, if there is less rain occur during the monsoon, this irrigation will play an important role. It is done through wells, tube wells, canals and Persian wells. What do you mean by Persian wells? Means traditional irrigation equipment which consists of a wheel with large scoops or buckets attached. That is Persian wells. Okay. Wells and tube wells. In villages, wells are dug to bring groundwater to the surface. See, here we can see in the picture, children. See, these are the wells. So, in villages we can find these wells. These wells are dug to bring groundwater to the surface. In case the water level is too deep, then a deeper hole is dug and water is brought to the surface using an electric pump. It is called a tube well. This is called a tube well. This is well and this is tube well. If the water level is too below or too deep, then they will make a hole, a deep hole. They will dug a deep hole and water is brought to the surface through tube wells. It is called a tube well. They are used in the states of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat. So these wells and tube wells are mainly used in the states like Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat. Next one, canals. Canals are built to bring water from the rivers directly to the fields. So these canals are used to bring water from the rivers directly to the fields. Tanks. In some areas, artificial reservoirs are created to store rainwater and use it for irrigation. Not only for that, even in some houses also we can find tanks. So, in some areas, artificial reservoirs, these tanks or artificial reservoirs are created to store rainwater and use it for irrigation. They are known as tanks. This method of irrigation is commonly used in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh. Next one, dam. A dam is a wall built across a river. It controls the flow of water by the opening and closing of sluice gates. So, dam is a wall. Dam will build across a river and it builds like a wall. It controls the flow of water by the opening and closing of sluice gates. We can see here this is a dam. This is a Sadhana Sarovar Dam. Water is stored in an artificial lake behind. All of you turn your pages, children. Behind the dam called as reservoir. The stored water is directed towards fields through canals. So, water is stored in the reservoirs and these stored waters will be given through canals. Apart from storing water, dams are used for other purposes also. Water is made to fall from a height in a dam to generate electricity. So dams are not only used for irrigation and all this, but it is also used to generate electricity. Dams will control floods and also a place for breeding fish. Dams will also play a role as a place for breeding fish. When a dam is built to serve more than one purpose, it is called a multi-purpose project. What is meant by multi-purpose project means here these dams are playing a multiple roles, like they control floods, they generate electricity and they are useful for breeding fish. So these dams are known to be multi-purpose project. Children, we will continue the remaining class in our next. We will continue the remaining part in our next class, children. Okay. Once go through the today's class. Bye, children. Thank you.